Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks so much for joining me here. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Appreciate you taking the time to watch here. I do recommend watching all the way to the end. We got some really important stuff here with some unusual activity with Bitcoin. We got $500 million, a little over, transferred or just utilized essentially in the last 14 minutes. That reflected a very, very significant uptick in Bitcoin volume and price. So we're going to see, of course, if this can maintain itself or hold, but that does kind of, I guess you could say nullify the potential for the price to come down, at least in the immediate future, because of the simple fact that this wedge pattern here broke upwards and it either goes up or down. It squeezes itself into a little bit of a wedge, and it's pretty common to see that in the weekend, but on Sunday morning, it's less common to see this much volume. So interesting stuff there. We're also going to look at high block capital data, some liquidation levels, and obviously open interest, kind of see what that tells us here today. Okay, so you're new to the channel, really love teaching people how to trade. If you can help us grow our Twitter community, be grateful for that. We are actually still growing, which is fantastic. A nice little slow little upswing there, but good news is I offer different benefits here. We got a free private signal access there if you use this link to register for BitGet. All you gotta do is fund your account $100 or more and you get some cash back there too. Really cool stuff. But bottom line, we love to help people out, so we got tons of different partnerships and affiliations on our homepage there. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. Okay, so just be sure to check that out. So with Bitcoin, this unusual activity that we're seeing, what does this mean? Well, it pretty much just means that the price action is, it's moving a little earlier than expected. Typically, Sunday evenings, at least here in the Western Hemisphere, essentially, we are looking at a different scenario, right? Altogether, it is usually a little bit later, but it's opened up a little early. So some money is moving fast and quick, so we just got to kind of see what's going to happen next year. So let's take a quick peek at that first. All right, so let's go ahead and take a couple looks at one thing to first of all touch on. MACD convergence on the daily. This is huge. This is a very big deal, showing us that we have bullish momentum, bullish continuation potential to the upside. So that gives us more indication that the price could retest this level here at 31,000. Now, keep in mind, we've got a unique circumstance here with Bitcoin dominance testing its all-time high, or at least most recent high, rather, or you could say the last 2-year high. We go ahead and take a look here. It's basically, it's always maxed itself out at 49% in the last 2 years. Okay, so keep in mind with Bitcoin dominance coming up to try to retest that level, that does change the dynamic. If we were to break through that, that would imply that Bitcoin should continue much further. It also implies that altcoins could very well take a little bit larger of a hit, because what happens is profits from altcoins comes into Bitcoin as the dominance increases. So a lot of those larger whales or whomever has a lot of profit, specifically on coins that are doing things like this, they're going to take that money, that profit, and go over to Bitcoin with it. And then once Bitcoin becomes valuable enough, they will sell that, and we see Bitcoin dominance decrease and alt season will start, okay? So some big picture stuff there kind of going on there, so just something to pay attention to. Let's see if we had any gaps left over. I don't really see any recent gaps. I mean, we do have these two little ones here, of course, keep in mind, between 28.5 and 28.7. Those were very minor, but that did occur roughly, on the 26th. So 4 days ago, we did see small gaps that haven't been filled yet. But those are pretty small. Sometimes those go unfilled, but generally speaking, I wouldn't say that's a massive deal breaker there. Take a look at the global volume here. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek here. We can see, again, significant uptick in volume in the last hour. Obviously, with those significant amount of, volume came alive over on Binance and a handful of other exchanges, but generally speaking, it's pretty low on the scale of the big picture, but this is a pretty big deal for a weekend to have that much green this early in the day. So to me, when we look at that, we can kind of see the volume is kind of coming back in. That could spell an increase in price for Bitcoin. Okay, now before we jump into the charts, let's go ahead and quickly touch on some high block capital data, some level 2 data in the back end, kind of see what's going on here. We can see there's obviously a lot of shorts getting liquidated. Yesterday, a couple of longs, but not too much, honestly. We got volume increasing here today. Open interest is increasing, and the amount of shorts is also increasing. This is pretty standard stuff here. In other words, open interest going up and the price going up, that runs concurrent with an increased amount of volume and essentially gives us the indication the price action will likely continue further up. Again, that being said, with the price going up right now, we're in a position right now where we have some resistance levels too, okay? A lot of folks are thinking that the price is going to reject out at 30,000, so they're opening more shorts, or a lot more people are trying to sell than buy right now. If we take a look at liquidation levels, we can kind of see here that there is a lot of liquidation at potential at 29,100, 29.1, and then of course we're starting to see accumulation at 30,000 / 30,200. So folks are either closing their short positions or they had stop losses end those levels there and close their shorts in general. That's what we did as a community, honestly, because there's no use in holding on to Bitcoin when it's surging like this, it's probably going to test 30,000, hit a lot of those stop losses and probably continue, or at the very least we get like a liquidation hunt that occurs, which we pretty much just saw, and it'll continue until every single short is liquidated and then they just sell off and turn the price right back around. It's a very ugly cycle, but it's very common in this industry. So what's going on here? Well, with longs here, we can see in the most recent past, let's focus on that. We can see that with our longs, longs are opened up. A lot of longs opened up at 29,800. Okay, so they're pretty much in the red right now with the price kind of wavering above and below the 29.6, 29.7 range. We can see as far as shorts are considered, a lot of recent shorts are opened right there at 29,800. So we got the most amount of longs and shorts at the same level. Okay, so right now 29.8 is a point of contention. Is 30,000 going to wick out and hit a bunch of stop losses, or is it going to just dump right back down this most recent high, again tentative high here, right in the range of about 29,600? Well, we're going to find out. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and see what's going on. So with the daily, of course, because we've already acknowledged in the big picture that the monthly is looking pretty good. Today's the last day of the month. We're staying above 50 on the RSI. That is huge. Okay, so if we take a look at the long-term big picture, we rarely go under 50 on the RSI, but when we do, and we come back up above, we stay above. Okay, so it's been 3 instances in the past. 2015 is roughly about a year. 2019, we had roughly about 6 to 7 months. Now we're closer to about a year under RSI at 50, and now we're back up above. Okay. So all 3 times we've seen the money flow index come down and then recover instantly as soon as we have the price action above 50. Okay, so there's a great chance with this consideration plus the MACD on the horizon, the convergence on the horizon, the monthly, we're going to see a pretty good significant uptick in Bitcoin here soon. So I'm speculating we're going to see the price continue higher in the overall sense of things. Let's take a quick look at simple moving averages. We're above 50 on the simple moving average on the monthly, which again is a very fantastic sign. It's been rare for Bitcoin to be below the monthly moving average. Okay, so good news is obviously last month closed above, but this one did too. We didn't even have a retest yet. So it's a good chance that that'll continue to maintain itself at 25,000. That does reaffirm the fact that we have a support level at 25,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on into the daily here, because again, we've acknowledged the monthly is looking pretty darn good. We're going to skip over the weekly just because of the simple fact that it's kind of the same scenario. It's telling us that we're mostly bullish, but we're getting rejected off of 70 on the RSI, which is fine. We want to see that. But when it comes to the daily, we can see that we are cruising upwards again towards 70 on the RSI. We've got a MACD convergence here as well, so there's really no reason not to consider an uptick in price right now. Okay. Now again, if we break that level at 30,000, 30,500, how hard is it going to go? Well, it should go pretty hard, honestly, because we'll be in more recent price discovery. But generally speaking, at this point, we can see increased volume, MACD convergence on larger time frames. The macro is looking very solid. Same thing with the 50-day SMA working its way up here, essentially giving us that ascending type of trend. Okay, so we want to pay attention to that. Of course, we're above the 20-day SMA as well as of today. So mostly positive stuff here on the daily. 4-hour reflects a very similar scenario, albeit a little early because we just had this 1 4-hour candle close. But we do have a convergence on the horizon here as well. As also, we've got 50 on the RSI as well as below 70. So really, there's literally no downside I see on the 4-hour or the daily at this point for Bitcoin. It's completely done a complete 180 from where we're at on Friday. That being said, taking a look at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and see if there's any overextension potential here. We're at a 4, hypothetically another 9 hours, or 5 to 9 hours of continuation upwards. So I don't think this little run has discontinued or will discontinue. And when it comes to Ichimoku Cloud, we closed soundly above a few hours ago, and we are all free and clear here. So conversion line above the baseline, lag and spam. I mean, goodness gracious, there's every single indication here that a long position is much more viable than a short. We do have an overextension here on the 15-minute time frame from our CC Golden Indicator, and this basically just tells us that, hey, you should have taken some profits at this level because obviously the price wicked out and got overextended. But there was a couple of buy signals earlier in the day from yesterday that are kind of indicating that the price action was staying above specific moving averages and volume, and essentially telling us the price is going to continue upwards. So there's literally nothing I can see here that tells us the price is going to pull back or come down right now. So I like what I see everything here from Bitcoin. Am I saying to go long and go hard right now? I wouldn't say that. I am just saying, though, that the big picture, there's a tremendous amount of potential here in the larger time frames. We could see a minor pullback, but if we were to, it'd be a good point in which you might want to consider buying the dip. So I do feel like Bitcoin is going to go up from here. It's definitely looking pretty good, and there's really no downside potential. Once again, you've got to reevaluate every 12 to 24 hours. Make sure you consistently look at these things over and over again. But for right now, at this exact time, Bitcoin is looking very healthy and very strong. I'd be surprised if we see a pullback here at this point. Half the reason why we closed our short positions, but again, hey, that's part of the game. You got to cut your losses before they get too large, right? And I'm proud of you guys for learning that yourself too as well. A lot of community members and just in general traders that watch this channel, they're starting to trade for themselves and have good risk management, good risk tolerance. It's really important to be able to do that, and to cutting your losses is a big part of what I like to teach. And I know it's tough, but it's just a necessary evil. Okay, minimize your loss, maximize your gain. Stay safe out there. Thanks again for joining me. We'll see you all in the next one. Take care.